rights. There is hope. SB 1598, which is what the council is using and what Mr. Garcia is using for the reason why they have to do these codes, does exist. If you want to look it up, make sure you put in Arizona SB 1598, or you will get every single SB 1598 for all the states. This is mandated. And it is something that we have to do here in the state of Arizona and throughout all the states. What you need to be really conscious of is this is not me complaining about the city of Benson or Kathy or JT. This is happening all throughout the United States. People are losing their freedoms and their property rights left and right. Unless we stand up for them, they're going to be gone here pretty soon. And what are you going to have then? The problems that I have with these codes, which is many, but I know we need codes. We have to have codes. We've got to have rules and regulations by which we live. But these are too vague. They give too much discretion to just certain people. And they're allowed to pursue on items that are ridiculous. And what that is going to be used and how they're getting around really our personal and private property rights is by claiming everything as a health hazard. Well, you got a hole in your screen, that's a health hazard. You might get a mosquito. Well, they better not let us outside because we might get a mosquito there too. So that's a ridiculous point of view. What the House of Representatives in Florida did, well, they did a Bill of Rights too. That is what SB 1598 mandates, is that we get a Bill of Rights that explains to us how the codes and enforcement codes will be applied to us. That's a good thing. But don't be fooled thinking that they have to be written the way they've been written. What I found is most of the cities have written similar codes. And in the Florida House of Representatives, they took the codes. I want y'all to really try to look this up. I didn't bring the website with me, but I'll get it for you, and if you contact me or give me an email, I'll email it to you. But what they did was they went in, and some of the things that they changed was, first of all, the only way the city can come onto your property and cite you for a violation is if you have a serious health and safety issue. By serious, I mean if you have sewage running all over the ground, that needs to be dealt with immediately. If you have a refrigerator with a latch on the front and a child can get in and be suffocated, you need to take care of that immediately. We're talking serious. They disallowed them from coming onto your property for anything less serious than those issues. So it can't be at the whim of whoever happens to be in charge at the time. And for anybody to tell us, well, we've got these codes, but we're not going to enforce them, I'm living proof that that is not true. Now, they also limited the duration of a lien. In Florida, they tried to make the lien be able to be there for 20 years. The House of Representatives said no, 5 years, that's it. If you don't foreclose on the lien in 5 years, you won't get it. That's if they ever get it to that stage in the first place. But believe me, they've made it so difficult, it probably will never happen. One of the other things that we don't have that we need is a cap. You can't take a violation, say it's going to be $250 a day, and then for every violation, and continue with that every day. In 10 days, if you had 7 violations that were $100 each, at the end of 10 days, you'd owe $7,000. Well, the Florida House of Representatives said, no. You want to give a fine? It's a $250 fine, that's it. And if you want to abate a property, it will only be for the amount that it actually costs you. They also dealt with things like intimidation, harassment. They said that if any city official comes to you and makes you fear or feel afraid or you're being harassed, and you can stop that. In fact, they criminalized it for those that do it. If you have an inspector that comes and threatens you in any way or makes you feel threatened, you're being harassed. And you have a right to sue them. What I'm trying to tell you is that there is hope. The hope is we do not pass these codes. Yes, we can go back and do a referendum, but 150 people lost their homes in Ventura, California, because they didn't stop them before they went into effect. We don't want to have to backpedal. We will if we have to. But hopefully we won't have to, because we need to stop this now. The other things that they did...
Diane, that was the buzzer.
Okay, I apologize. But if you have any other questions, or you want to see these other states that have changed these, there were other states, lots of them, I'll be glad to provide you with that information. Please leave me your email or phone number. Thank you.
And can we put that up on Steve's blog, some of it too?
Yeah, I can do that, no problem.
Okay, the blog address is on cards at the back of the room if you'd like to get that site on the internet. Does anybody else sign up? Anybody else want to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, Brian Kraft, thank you. Please sign in. Please sign in. I will just say, one of the things that the grand jury in California said about the Ventura case was that it appeared that the city was using code violations as a means for generating revenue for the city, and that was totally illegal. They can only do it for what it costs them. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to be very short on this. I think there's been a good discussion tonight, and I think everyone...
Excuse me, who are you?
I'm sorry, I'm Brian Crafts, and I'm running for City Council. One thing I would like to do right now is give each of yourselves a hand. You showed up, and that's big. Now you have another job you have to do, and that's tell your neighbors what you heard tonight. Make your decisions. You've heard the facts. That's what I challenge you to do tonight. So like I said, I thank the people that put this on. This is a lot of work. And to get the facility that we have tonight, that was excellent. I'll leave you with a couple of quotes. And I'm a fan, I'm a history fan. And one of my favorites is Thomas Jefferson. And he said, educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance of the preservation of our liberty. That's what we did tonight. We're educating the people. They will make their decisions, make their voice heard. The second thing I'd like to quote is another one from Thomas Jefferson. He said, my reading of history convinces me that most bad government results from too much government. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, our laws are supposed to set limits on the freedoms that we have. We have all freedoms you could think of until our freedom compromises the health and safety of someone else. And then we have laws that put parameters on it. We're not supposed to have laws for every single aspect of our lives. If I want to have a hole in my screen because my cat put his claw through it, that shouldn't be a criminal offense. Anybody else? Okay, Jim Gray, sign in, please. Okay.
Hello, I'm Jim Gray at Gillen's Corral. And it's been messed up all night. I don't like to be way out there, but I am a concerned citizen. I have a business here. I try to follow the council meetings and see what's happening. Not all the time, but on agenda items that I think are important. And I've addressed the city council on a lot of issues. And I think this building code thing really bothers a few people in the fact that, look what Ms. Tipton's gone through and her son. Are we talking about a life and death thing here? We're talking about a grandfather right, a setback, putting something actually better in the park that was, kind of had some dilapidated units here. So what happened? This should, you know, I've heard $600,000 for attorney fees for them, maybe $300 for the city. I went to the city council and went up in front of them when it was about $30,000 to $40,000. I talked to the city manager. I came up to all the council members that were here. I said, look, you guys fix this. It's not a matter of life or death. The only ones that are going to win are attorneys. So what's happening? Win, lose, or draw. It sucked out hundreds of thousands of dollars from the city that could have been used for a lot of good things. And, you know, I don't like to attack individuals. It's not my style. I don't like people addressing the city council and putting them down for spending time that they get paid very little for, and they're trying to do a good job. I don't appreciate it. And I'm sure they don't. So, you know, I am for people that are willing to listen, and I unfortunately think the city council, I'm a little bit upset with them in the fact that I don't think they used common sense. I don't think they really listened. I think they got bad advice, and they got to a certain point they really couldn't get out of it, which can happen to some people. So I think a lot of the people are really upset because of what the city is really willing to do for no real drastic change. And I think they have to respect our rights. And I think the people are going to stand up around here, and they're going to demand some changes in the city of Benson. When I came here, there was 50 employees. Now there's 110. The budget was 10 million when I came here 16 years ago. It's over 20 million. But really, I haven't seen anything happen in the city that's really been positive in the last 3 or 4 years. I'm not faulting individuals on the city council. You know, I think a woman should be on there. I really do. It gives a different opinion besides just men. But we need some thinkers on the city council with some education. It'll help. They have to be open-minded and not just go along with everything the city wants, because, hey, the city managers and people who work the city, they don't always have the best ideas.
Anyone else?
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
It's okay, Jim, you can bring a bouquet of